Hello, child. You've strayed too far from the path, and now trapped between the mirror and the thorns of the hedge. Welcome to Down the Rabbit Hole, a narrative horror podcast set in the world of Changeling, the Lost. Due to adult language and violent nature of the stories told, this podcast is rated M for mature, and we strongly encourage listener discretion.
Black fog slow crawling over the hillside.
Episode 4, Raves and Riddles.
Cold words go calling under the outside.
May I trouble you to hold my hand, child? My joints sound like the twigs beneath our feet. My eyes, they grow cloudy. Oh, that's why. Will you do the honors and light the lantern for the night? There we are. Beautiful, isn't it? Shades of yellow and blue, muted and soft. Have you heard its song yet? Oh yes, the lantern will sing to you, as it has sung to me. I've been listening to its songs ever since it chose me to carry it. Not the lantern itself, but the sprites and nixies inside, twinkling like chimes, and their laughter, like when you pluck a guitar string and then you silence it with your finger. That's not the sound they normally make. Yes, no, I heard it too, that ting like a distant cymbal. I wonder what it could be. Well, if it's the dinner bell, let's make ourselves scarce. Oh, will you please stop with the sirs? I am Vathek, and I wouldn't bother telling you if I didn't wish for you to call me that. Wish? Yes, I haven't forgotten. It's written on the coin here. Odd. I knew I had it tucked away into one of my sashes. Maybe by the belt. Maybe it fell down. Oh, never mind, it's bound to come up. Walk with me along the hodgepodge and hurdy-gurdy of flora that is the hedge, the garden between Earth and the realms of Arcadia. No, I've never fought a true fae. They cannot be fought. That implies they can be killed. That implies the rules of life or death or any universe apply to them. They rule dreams the way a whirlpool rules the sea. Or maybe I'm thinking of the sharks. You'd be just as terrified if either of them walked into your home and started talking. You'll rarely encounter one of those on Earth, though. It's too solid for them, too ruled by laws like physics, gravity, the way things should be. The Earth is not as comfortably mutable as their obscure and anachronistic fancies. I don't mean just social etiquette or decorum. I mean the existence of time itself, progressive and steady. It's stifling to them. Alien. I walked the Earth for a while back in the day. It was like shoving fresh pudding into a tuxedo, freezing it into a shape and then dancing with it in the summer. Too much of the Earth is, and not enough could be, if you follow. Still, even on Earth, outside of their realm, the true fae are power incarnate, just given flesh. Be wary of them, child, to every degree possible. A beached shark will still bite after all.
I ain't proud about what I'm about to tell you. I fucked up this whole investigation because I'm not a detective. I just try to keep my head under the radar, avoid the crazy shit, just get the job done and go unnoticed. I did bad things to get away from my keeper. I did bad things to my wife even before I was taken. And even if tonight is just karma for the life I've led, I don't deserve to go back to Arcadia, and I won't. One of my eyes is swelled shut. I've got a rupture in my stomach, and I think one of my lungs has got to be punctured. Bat douche has me struggling on the floor as Lady Feng keeps ringing that damn cymbal. The gateway to the hedge is shaking. feeling like the whole building is shaking with it. An arm reaches out, bigger than any arm should be. The leathery palm is as big as my gut. Gray-skinned, sweaty, it slaps across the floor toward us. After it reaches 10 feet long, a second, then a third elbow emerge from the portal. As it gets closer, every fingernail on the 12 fingers opens up into an eyeball, and every cuticle opens to reveal a mouth. I've got one hand that can reach into my back pocket, same shorts I wore today. I'm fiddling blind in my back pocket, and I find it. It's the smooth bulb of the smoke bomb beetle, the one I swiped from the tent back in the hedge, and I crunch it between 2 fingers. Please don't be dried past their use. First time in my life, I'm grateful for the puff of air blasting out my ass. Dark blue smog pours out like a waterfall, blinding the darkling into letting me go. I snatch the blank contract just before my eyes become useless. Hopefully, it is Kip's contract with Fung and not just a dead end. I've got 3 limbs screaming with the sharp pain of dislocation at me to stay down. But I hobble like goddamn Yoda as fast as I can for where I hope the door is. By 3 seconds, I can't see my hand in front of my own face. Fung and her crony are screaming. Can't see. Almost can't breathe. Horrible vinegary smell from the beetle's gas. It's clenching my throat. Stinging my eyes. I'm flailing in the dark. I find a door, and I shove it open, and I start fucking running.
Oh yes, my darlings. After 7 long years, Mistress Hatter returns to her beloved worshippers and finds her court covered and smothered in beetle butt gas. No, 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 my sweet meat duckies, this is no fit welcoming for your mistress. This must change. There is one rule Mistress Hatter follows, and that is the rule of tea. To change plants into tea, you must add hot water. Precisely why the mistress carries a cauldron filled with the stuff. She enters the blasted world of rigid, stuffy iron and the boorish bureaucracy of physics. Lady Fung and her servant prostrate before her, her towering green-blue skin and mind-numbing beauty. They called, she answered, but no new servant can be seen? Then she shall have to go and find herself a proper servant. Gerald's bat face is not appropriate for a night on the town. A splash from his mistress's cauldron, and the weird turns him into an elegant horse, gaunt and grey and beautiful. The mistress must have an entourage, though. Ladies in waiting, she cannot go by herself. Luckily, 4 of the mortal cur stand on the corner outside, flaunting their filthy skin for all the world to see. No, 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 my duckies, my dearies, this will never do. This does not fit Mistress Hatter's decor at all. Into the cauldron you go! Crowns of dried hedge thorns and memory weave will make them perfect and obedient. Just need to hook the thorns into their scalps and that fold of skin above their eyes. There, aren't you beautiful now? The weird turns their screams into twittering cackles of joy and admiration, and they love the mistress. Yes. Flowing gowns of royal purples and petticoats grow from the miniskirts and spaghetti straps. Their hairs weave themselves atop into towering sculptures, sprouting flowers and birds. Oh, wonderful. Tears of pain become tears of joy. Denise, Linda, Anna, and Rachel. No. These commoner names will never do. You are now Lady Cinnamon, Cardamom, Chamomile, and Chaseberry. Yes. Now how shall we travel? What shall we hitch Gerard to with this monstrous steel hook? Ah, Lady Fung's personal hearse. No, too dour for a night of celebration. Tear off the roof, throw the cauldron over it, and watch the fizzles of glamour. Ah, yes, much better. Let the ugly steel grow jewels and vines and neon-lit bulbs announcing, no, proclaiming the return of Mistress Hatter. Oh, my lovelies. Yes. Now, we ride to adventure in the city. We ride to find a proper servant for the Mistress Hatter.
Murray and I are standing across the street, watching the meat market line up and try to bribe the bouncer to get inside the club. It's easy enough to pick off the stragglers, but I've got my eye set on a particular girl. Power suit, doubled over, her brain practically cask-aged in hard liquor, showing her teeth in a way that's not a smile. She's being dragged away by a black chick in jeans and short dreadlocks. I think I'm gonna top off on the blonde, and the other's gonna be just for fun. That's when I see it coming up the street. You see, with the kink community in Brooklyn, you think you're practically prepared for everything. But something out of Walt Disney's Super Sweet 16 party rolls its way up in front of the club. It's a fucking Cinderella carriage driven by a horse. A horse. Wearing a hat. Skulls, bows, tethers of pastel ribbons are draped all along the sides of it, and even the horse has a saddle covered in fresh roses. Which means either Amanda fucking Palmer's fused with Bjork, or Uber's overdosing on LSD. That's when a literal liquid splash of red carpet flows out of the carriage that I forget all about the blonde. Victorian hoop skirts, foot-long beehives, 6-inch heels, all damsels step out and surround. I see their lady and I get an erection without willing the blood. Bitch is easily over 6 feet tall. Green-blue hair set in a mountain of curls cemented into place by possibly gallons of hairspray. A form-fitting dress textured like molten lava cascades over her shoulders and hips. They've all got white-painted faces with solid lines of black and red, like a Japanese visual K band. I guess nobody told Hot Topic they're a month behind Fashion Week. I don't even realize I'm walking toward her when I tell Murray, dibs.
Mistress Hatter shall be announced at the grand ball so her subjects may rejoice in her return. But the servant at the door dares to reject Mistress Hatter. Lady Chamomile leads him astray, and the mistress enters through the paltry entrance after he is baptized in the cauldron. Oh, and behold the festivities in honor of her return! The 2-story theater, the stage fog, the strobe of lights, like when you bite into a solstice reindeer's neck. Magnificent, this gala. A cascade of falling paper scraps become butterflies in her hands, and she releases them into the crowd, showering her admirers with gifts. The eyes of the crowd draw upon her. Topless and bleeding from their faces, she sends Lady Cinnamon and Chaseberry to rouse the crowd, to make them dance and change places. Now all of her angels have left their senses. Yes, and the party shall begin.
I see men are swarming around the Amazon, following their dicks like compasses. I toss 2 Italian pricks like rag dolls and stand in front. Her eyes, they're like bottomless pits of sapphire. They're piercing. I suddenly sympathize with every butterfly that's been awake when the first pin impales them to a board. But I hit her with the majesty, and I hit her hard. Her head twitches. I can't tell if it worked. But she reaches for one of the ladies in her posse, rips off a crown of blossoming dandelions, and for a moment, I think I hear a neck snap. She puts a long hand on my shoulder and offers me the headpiece of weeds, and I gotta say no. Clashes with my outfit. But we spin on the floor, dipping and rising. She smells like nothing I've ever smelled before, and I want to swallow her in gulps, tap her neck like a keg of PBR at a freshman's hazing. We whisper each other's names into our ears, and I immediately forget. I could go base jumping down her neck and deep sea diving into her cleavage if she'd just stop fucking dancing and look into my eyes like a good girl. The crowd is moving around her. More and more shirts are being thrown off. or torn off. Murray's missing one hell of a party. Why, she asks me, leaning into my ear, is a raven like a writing desk? Easy, baby, I tell her, raising myself to get a good smell. They're both in the riddle.
No, 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 my darling duckies, that is not the right answer! Mistress Hatter calls to the air in the fake fog and infuses it with glamour, and it spreads her wishes into all who breathe it. All the pretty people stop dancing and turn to face her failure of a servant. Those who fail the mistress must pay the consequences and be steeped in their shame and infused with penance. Lady Cardamom wheels over the mistress's cauldron and ladles a handful of scalding water onto the failure of a servant. His skin hisses as the hot water fails to transform him. Odd, this will not do at all. All the pretty people feel her disappointment, and they swarm upon Devon, unleashing her disapproval, unleashing bedlam. Into the tea he must go!
Both sound flat,
says a whispery voice behind Mistress Hatter.
That's why a raven is like a writing desk.
She turns and sees a scraggly, bearded wretch. He is incorrect, and he's not handsome enough to be her servant. Lady Cinnamon rises despite the broken leg and swings a chair at the scraggly one. He headbutts Lady Cinnamon, and she drops. The mistress is taken by the throes of despair. Is no one worthy of matching wits and charms with Lady Hatter? Must all unworthy be steeped in the cauldron tonight?
Hey, bitch! I yell at the Glamazon as I toss off 3 twinks and a security guard. That gets her attention, and her shocked face is frozen like a Japanese demon mask. I think her cheeks and her chin are getting pointier. No time to worry about that. I got your riddle right here! I don't know why. I don't know why this is a good idea, but I charge her. People try to fly tackle me, but I didn't tear my way through 2 fucking werewolves tonight just to fall before this broad. I roll with them, pile them on top, and jump at the crazy lady. Legs wrapped around her waist, I bite down and I tear. I immediately regret my decision. There's no blood. Something spicy but thin like Earl Grey tea scalds my mouth and splashes against my face. It's like ripping off of a fire hydrant, there's so much of it. Mesh, wet, papery crap is pouring from her neck, burning me. The beast doesn't like to be burned. She screams and rips me off, which, to her credit, is scary that she has that kind of strength. I fly face first at Murray. We both go backward from the momentum. Murray props me up. Behind us, the Sailor Scout squad of ladies-in-waiting are holding broken chair legs, still smiling painfully through ripped, painted faces. In front of us, almost 50 people stand poised to charge, their eyes glazed over in primal panic. Their tall leader, her skin now shimmering blue with, starlight, looms over us. I start writing my own eulogy in my head. Wait a minute. Writing. Why is a raven like a writing desk? Because Poe wrote on both! The mob tenses. The tall lady turns her head, and I swear I hear the clicking like an old rotary phone.
The ruffian named Devon answers the riddle correctly. And of course, she realizes he isn't her new servant. He is her champion! Mistress Hatter claps, and all her shiny, happy people break into applause. Lady Chaseberry claps her fresh tatters against exposed, broken finger bones, and Mistress Hatter is pleased. She moves through the mob with the grace of a lily pad. She extends a cup from her cauldron, and suddenly... Oh dear, dear, my dear darlings, poor Turkish delights. The witching hour is closing, and your mistress must return to her realm. Such a troublesome night. But we had fun, didn't we? Oh, do not fret, Lady Cinnamon, Cardamom, Chaseberry, and... Where is Chamomile? Oh, well, she'll clot eventually. Your mistress shall return in another 7 years. I take my champion Devon into my arms, all 4 of them, and with the last reserves of glamour, turn the arch into a path to Arcadia and spirit him away.
What the hell just happened? I hobble, meaning I don't succumb to my buckling knees, alongside of a brick building. I don't know where I am. Gotta call Pete somehow. Alone, cold, clogged by leftover smoke, I must look like a shiny target with a cherry on top to every shifty eye, hungry mouth and pocketed hand watching me from the shadows. But there's no help for freaks like me. That's when I hear the honking. I hear a car pull up noisily behind me, and a door opens close to me.
"Hey,"
calls a voice from within the car.
"you need a ride, buddy?"
Don't say yes. Don't agree. Don't talk back. Don't trust anything with 2 eyes and a mouth, god damn it. Yeah, I say. I need help calling a friend.
"Okay, hop on in. I got a first aid kit in the glove compartment."
Thanks.
"Looks like we're both having a rough night. I hate full moons. That's when all the crazies go wacko."
I hate how right you are about that.
"After the crazies purge themselves, only those of us who are right will be left. You shouldn't trust the moon anyway. It's just a mirror for the sun."
I've been trying to avoid mirrors.
"Oh yeah, me too. Mainly 'cause they don't show me how I really am. This face is just a mask full of meat. It never shows us our intentions or our futures, the stuff you really need to know. Mirrors don't show what's really there, you know?"
Yeah, you're right.
"I don't mind dropping you off home. Kinda need the long drive anyway. I don't really get the chance to do much good these nights. You wanna do me a favor? Nothing serious, but you mind paying it forward?"
I think I can do that. The creepy guy with the dirty beard drops me off home. There's a pot of thornweed cream in the fridge, and I gulp it down between shallow breaths. Between the goblin fruit and the oxycontin in the medicine cabinet, I feel the immediate bleeding stop. My lung inflates itself, shoulder pops back into place. I regain control of my cracked fingers. Aching, I slump into the living room chair. Lady Feng said that the paper was whisper script. Creepy shit, but I've worked with it before. It's made like papyrus, but infused with glamour. You can only buy it at the goblin market. Steep price, too. It won't give up any secrets unless a greater secret is offered. Oh, hell. I start telling it terrible things. Nothing. I tell it some regrets I have, and once I start, they're being pulled out of my throat like a 2-foot-long finger, and my stomach lurches from the intrusion. If I resist, the magics may rip my throat out. I tell it more horrible things. I tell it that I used to fire good kids from my landscaping business on Fridays just because they were Mexican, didn't have no proper papers, and it means I wouldn't have to pay them. I tell it that I told my wife I was glad when her mother died. I fall to the floor. I feel my foot start to twist against its tendons. It's still not satisfied. It wants a deeper secret. I tell the whisper script that I used to buy Redcap's videotapes. I'm almost out of breath, but my innards are about to be ripped out of my throat, and I think about all the bullshit and all the violence and all the lies of the last few days, and I blurt out, I don't care about finding Kip anymore, I just want this to end! The pain is suddenly gone, just as soon as it started. I breathe, roll myself onto my back, wait for my vision to come clear again. The whisper script starts revealing its text,
And I suddenly know who commissioned Lady Feng to make a fetch for Kip. And where they took the final product.
Crawling flat on broken glass.
Down the Rabbit Hole is part of the Chroniclers of Darkness. It is written by Uncle Yo. Original music and production by Jimmy Lin. Special thanks to ELIZA RICKMAN for permission to use her music. Find her and become entranced by her at elizarickman.com. Thanks to White Wolf Publishing and Onyx Path Publishing for this elegant game of beautiful madness. Comments? Questions? Hollows for rent? Say your name 3 times into a dark bathroom mirror. Trust us, the gentry are listening. This podcast is produced thanks to Patreons like you. Join us at patreon.com/UncleYo or contact us at facebook.com/UncleYo. Thanks for any shares, retweets, likes, and tokens. Game on. Include everyone. And remember that death is more merciful than the keepers. Catch you next week.